Levy Center in Santa Clara for Santa Clara Bronco basketball. The Bronco pregame show presented by Lenardi's Markets. Tonight, Santa Clara 9-3 hosting 7-3 UC Irvine out of the Big West Conference. I'm Anthony Passarelli. My partner and former Bronco Henry Caruso will be along shortly. It's a matchup of a couple of strong rebounding teams as Santa Clara looks for its first ever win against UC Irvine. The Broncos are 0-6. More on the pregame show after this. Starters, keys to the game when we return. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.
You're listening to Santa Clara Broncos basketball on AM 1220 KDOW.
We are back inside the Levy Center. Good to have you with us tonight, Anthony Passarelli and Henry Caruso. For Santa Clara Bronco basketball, the 9-3 Broncos take on the UC Irvine Anteaters. Our starting lineups delivered by Scott's Seafood and Chowder House, serving only the best, most sustainable seafood. And we'll start with the Anteaters out of the Big West Conference. Pierre Cockrell and Dawson Baker, along with DJ Davis in the backcourt for head coach Russell Turner. It is a prolific shooting team, and Cockrell, the transfer from Pacific, leads the team in assists. Bent Leuchten, 7-foot sophomore from Germany, 7.6 rebounds, came off the bench last year. He's in the starting lineup this year. And the transfer from UNLV, Devin Tillis, 6'6", 210-pounder. This team is led in scoring by DJ Davis and his 16 points per game. For the Broncos, it's the same lineup Herb Sendick has run out for the previous 12 games. A backcourt of Carlos Stewart, Brandon Pajemski, and Keyshawn Justice, with Jaden Bediako and Parker Brown in the front court. And Herb Sendick with a record at Santa Clara of 106-88 and 519 career victories. Our referees, Jerry Pollard, Kip Kissinger, and Michael Greenstein. And as we're joined here by Henry Caruso, Broncos coming off a nail-biter of a win on Tuesday against Portland State, and now they have to get up for an even better team, by all accounts, and a team that beat them last year in the Anteaters.
Absolutely. UC Irvine's been a great program these last few years, and they've given the Broncos trouble as the Broncos are winless in this series, and it's a great opportunity here. Coach Sendick scheduled the Anteaters, and really looking forward to seeing how these Broncos respond here tonight.
Broncos walking out on the floor. They're wearing black uniforms. These are rarely seen. I think just a few times a year Santa Clara will break out these blacks with Broncos in script across the chest above white numbers. The Anteaters are wearing their gold uniforms trimmed in blue and anteaters across the chest. Leukton and Brown ready to jump center, and we are ready to go here. Up into the air, and it's tipped into the hands of Brandon Pajemski. Broncos in the front court, and we have our first possession of the game. 10 seconds in, Carlos Stewart bouncing to Jaden Bediako. There's a jump hook, left short, tipped all the way out into the hands of Carlos Stewart, and the Broncos will get a second bite of the apple here to start the game. Pajemski working his way around Davis. Davis cuts him off at the right elbow. Out it comes to Keyshawn Justice. A quick touch from Carlos Stewart. Parker Brown behind the back with a dribble. Stops in the paint. He's in trouble. Forces a shot up. It hits the side iron, the backboard, and drops through for Parker Brown, coming off a 13.7 rebound game against Portland State, and the Broncos have the lead 2-0. Baker, crafty guard, good shooter. Out top it comes. Quick look by Tillis. Into the hands of Crockrell. Crockrell's floater from the free throw line is good. And Pierre Crockrell, he's only averaging 4 points a game, but he's mainly a facilitator. You don't expect a lot out of him. Down low it goes to Bediako. Pump fake, leaning in, up with the left hand, and JB drops one down. The Broncos go back on top. It is 4-2.
Great job by JB running the floor, seeking out early position, and he's able to convert around the rim.
Bediako went 8 points, 11 rebounds against the Vikings in the Bronco 3-point victory. Crockrell with a left-handed dribble. He takes the ball back and in a reverse layup as he went underneath, missed the shot, rebounded by SCU. Carlos Stewart free throw line. Carlos Stewart looking for the trailer, finds Parker Brown. Down low it goes into Jaden Bediako. Pump fake. He's fouled on his way up. Leukton commits it, and JB's going to go to the line.
Deja vu. JB running the floor hard. He's able to establish that low position, and that's key for the Broncos. If he's able to get off to a great start like we saw against Portland State, it really bodes well for this Bronco team.
Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by University Credit Union. Broncos bank with their brain with University Credit Union. And the keys for success tonight, Henry, are
starting with the rebounding. Last season against the Anteaters, the Broncos lost the rebounding battle 43-26. In their win so far this year, the Broncos have rebounded their opponents in 10 out of 12 games. That's a huge key. And then also just really controlling the guards for UC Irvine. Number 22, DJ Davis, and number 1, Dawson Baker. These are prolific, scoring guards, and they're able to average 30 points a game and connect on over 43% from behind the arc.
Bediako gets 1 of 2 from the line. And we'll see how Santa Clara does on the glass in this one. As you noted, the huge discrepancy in reboundings a year ago, but it was Colin Velp, the 6'10 power forward who was a senior and is now playing in Germany, who was on this team last year. Crockrell driving, kicking out to Tillis, his three-pointer, back iron, and it hits the top of the backboard and goes out of bounds over the baseline to Santa Clara with a 5-2 lead. Only 2 starters for Russell Turner returning from a year ago, and it's Dawson Baker and DJ Davis. Davis last year came off the bench to score 13 in the victory over Santa Clara here at the Levy Center. Some pressure here as Crockrell meets Carlos Stewart at the midcourt stripe. Left sideline right in front of Russell Turner, the head coach of the Anteaters. Keyshawn Justice now throws to Carlos Stewart. Carlos has been averaging 20 points a game his last 5 contests. Bediako, 1 bounce into the hands of Justice. Justice to the left elbow. 7, now 6 on the timer. Top side to Carlos Stewart. He has 4, now 3. His step back 3 is in the air. Back iron miss. Crockrell on the run. Quickly front court to Baker. Nearly traveled. Throws behind him to Tillis. And they'll get Tillis for the travel. And it might have been that the call wasn't made on Baker. And so Tillis got it. Nevertheless, it's a turnover and Santa Clara basketball. And Tillis, the redshirt sophomore who is from Los Angeles but played 1 year at UNLV, sat out last year, was asking, hey, how did I travel? Well, he doesn't get the call, but the turnover gives it to Santa Clara. We are 2 minutes and 35 seconds into this opening half, and it's good to have you with us tonight on the WCC Network, on TuneIn Radio, the Broncos Premium Channel, and on AM 1220 KDOW. Pass goes into Bediako, has it stolen away by Tillis. Crockrell to Baker, left elbow down the lane, stops, throws it back out to Tillis. He'll pump fake, drive and kick. Crockrell into the paint, throws to the corner, wide open look for Tillis, and he misses it badly. Left it short. Pajemski a rebound. He leads the Broncos in that category as Brandon comes in grabbing 9 per game. Parker Brown fires a 3. That one off the back iron, and it slides down into the hands of Baker. Feed front court Crockroll between the legs with the dribble, spins. Baker, a touch. Tillis outside the arc top side, wants to go to Davis. Davis off the window, misses it. The Broncos tip it, and they tip it away from each other. It's Baker now looking to penetrate. Baker down the lane. Baker floats one in with the right hand as he hits the deck. Dawson Baker averaging 13.6 points per game, and the Bronco lead is 5-4. And Baker has drawn the assignment of defending against Pajemski. Brandon dribbling underneath baseline, whipping it around from Stewart to Justice, now to Parker Brown. Broncos with a 1-point lead. 3-pointer for Keyshawn. That one, you could tell it was not going to go in. Rebounded by Pajemski. His putback is blocked. Brandon shuffling it out to Justice. Broncos get another crack at it. Underneath, Keyshawn misses the shot, but Dean Keeler, who had checked in at the last break, the senior from Westminster, 6'11", 230, a big body, commits the foul, and that'll take us to our first media timeout. Anteaters average 80 points a game. They're off to a slow start. Broncos lead 5-4 with 15:53 remaining first half. Back after this, it's Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.
University.
Brandon Pajemski and the Broncos making their way out onto the floor here. Santa Clara leading the UC Irvine Anteaters 5-4. UC Irvine with victories at number 21 Oregon earlier this year, over LMU by 15, and then down in Las Vegas at the Holiday Classic beating Nicholls State by 27 and New Mexico State by 17. Keyshawn Justice misses the first free throw. He's got a couple coming here. The losses at Pepperdine by 9, at number 24 San Diego State by 3, and then Fresno State by 14. Kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team as Justice gets one of two, and the Broncos lead at 6-4. But a hot shooting team, and talking with Trent, their radio play-by-play guy, saying it's a team that can get off to a fast start and then kind of coast, and that's not what you want. Broncos defending here. Brenton Napper into the game. Drive and kick. Down low. A pass goes all the way to Tillis in the corner. 10 on the timer. Baker takes a peek at the shot clock. Step back 3 over Keyshawn. He left it short, but it bounces off the head and out to Crockroll. And Crockwell watches that one go out of play.
So far, we've seen a lot of backdoors by the Anteaters, even though they haven't converted. Broncos are really doing a good job pressuring, forcing the Anteaters to get out of their offense.
Akiva McBurney Griffin, the New Zealander, is into the game. Redshirt freshman forward. Santa Clara leading 6-4 with the basketball. Baker extending that defense all the way out near midcourt as Keyshawn Justice finds Jacob Holt, who had just checked in. So Napper and Holt in after that timeout. Napper to the elbow. Napper stops, throws out to Brown. Pump fake, downhill, goes by Tillis. His floater's an air ball, and it'll be knocked out of bounds and a shot clock violation as the Broncos just couldn't get a good look at the basket. And you start to see why. This is a UC Irvine team that is only allowing 63.5 points per game.
And that's been a constant for Russell Turner's teams over the years. They're going to defensively sit in gaps, really putting pressure on the Broncos to play one-on-one. And even if the Broncos are able to get an angle, the next guy's there to step up and help. It's a big-time help and recover type of defense here from the Anteaters.
J.C. Butler is in. We got to look at him last year. He's a redshirt senior from Racine, Wisconsin. His father, Karan Butler, longtime NBA player. But J.C. coming off the bench here. And our first look at Justin Hone, the sharpshooter, 6'1" redshirt junior guard from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Drive, a floater by Davis is no good. And then it is knocked out of bounds. And Herb Sendick is asking Mike Greenstein, why isn't there a foul? Because Parker Brown brought the ball down, and then he was swarmed by 3 different gold jerseys. The ball will come into McBurney Griffin. Quick touch to Davis. Now into the hands of, well, that could be J.C. Butler. And J.C. Butler knocking down a 3-pointer from the left wing. And the Anteaters have the advantage by a score of 7-6. And that is their first 3-pointer of the game. This ball tipped out near midcourt, picked up by Jacob Holt. Here's Pajimski. Butler defending him. Pajimski in trouble, picks up the dribble, bounces down low to Parker Brown. He's got a smaller defender on him, and it is not stolen, but a foul. Ujadugele, Ofure Ujadugele commits the foul. The 6'5" redshirt junior from Long Beach, Ofure, picks up his first. And some substitutions now as Davis will come out for the Anteaters, and the Broncos send Justice and Pajemski to the bench. Cozy Akametu and Carlos Stewart are in. And the Broncos had already started to get into their baseline out of bounds play when the whistle blew again. Loichten will check in for McBurney Griffin. And Ujadugele will come out. And our first look at Chaz Hutchinson, the 6'9" junior forward from Mission Viejo. Russell Turner likes to use a lot of players. Not one player on this roster, as there's a steal. Now into the front court quickly. Cozy Akametu recovering as he is able to slow things down a little bit. There's a drive to the basket and a missed shot. Broncos rebound. Carlos Stewart. Cozy Akametu will bring it back to Parker Brown. Now to Brenton Napper. Ball fake to the right. Justin Hone was defending briefly. Akametu being watched. Whips a pass to Parker Brown. Down into the block. Loichten on Jacob Holt. Carlos Stewart, rise and fire from 15. Left it a little bit long and off to the right. And it's rebounded by Hone. Picks it up, finds Hutchinson. Ball moved to Andre Henry, who is checked in. Right side of the floor. This is Hone to the right elbow. Wanted to lob it to Loichten cutting to the basket, but Brenton Napper recovered nicely. Butler looking. Butler throws back. This is Hone with 8 on the timer. Now a lob inside and a layup. A good look. Chaz Hutchinson caught it, laid it in, and it's 9-6. UC Irvine.
Unfortunate break there. Broncos had a late switch on the pick and roll, and UC Irvine took advantage.
3-ball from Cozy Akametu. Hits the back iron. Rebounded by Butler. The Broncos cold to start this game. 2 for 10, 0 for 4 from behind the arc. Hone fires a 3. That one ribs out. Jacob Holt collects it. Here's Brenton Napper to Carlos Stewart. Stewart coming off a career-high 24 last time out against Portland State. Carlos, rise and fire again. That one is good. And if the Broncos could get Carlos Stewart going, or even Pajemski, Santa Clara is going to be in good shape. Right now, they trail at 9-8, as even with that made basket, shooting just 27% to start.
And that's the shot that the Broncos are going to have tonight. UC Irvine, their big is dropping all the way off when there's a ball screen. Pajemski, Stewart, Brenton Napper, they're going to have those pull-up jumpers.
Butler met right at the three-point line by Carlos Stewart. Ball finds the right side, and now we've got a foul on Santa Clara as Cozy Akametu fouls Andre Henry. Santa Clara's first foul. Cozy picks it up. Cameron Tongue is going to check in for Parker Brown. You and I were talking before tonight's game that Cameron Tongue was not available against New Mexico State. He was a little under the weather, but he did come back and play a handful of minutes. Loichten misses as Brenton Napper off the inbound might have blocked the shot of the 7-footer. Carlos Stewart trying to find Cameron Tongue. He does. Cameron wanting to back down Hutchinson. Instead, it's Jacob Holt. Jacob Holt fires a three, misses front iron. And Holt now backpedaling as here come the Anteaters. Hone whipping a pass into the corner to Andre Henry. Henry to Hutchinson outside the arc. 11:38 left first half. Irvine leading it 9-8. Leukton, top of the arc. This is Andre Henry using the screen by Leukton. Now to Hone. Pump fake from three. Drives the lane. Leaves off for Leukton. And his jump hook is good from 5.
Yeah, just unfortunate there. Broncos overzealous, trying to block the shot, and it gave up a wide open lane and a dump off for the Anteaters.
11-8 is our score. Branton Napper tries to penetrate, loses the handle, but it goes to Carlos Stewart. From Carlos Stewart to Napper. Napper down low into Jacob Holt, and a foul. Leukton called for a hold on the low left block. Leukton has picked up his second, so the starting center for the Anteaters has 2 fouls, and we go into the under 12 timeout at 11:09 left first half. It's Irvine 11, Santa Clara 8. We'll be back with more after this. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Back inside the Levy Center, Anthony Passarelli, former Bronco, Henry Caruso, as Santa Clara trailing Irvine 11-8. Two teams, Henry, struggling to knock down shots from outside. Broncos 3 of 12, Irvine 5 of 14, but one of our keys was rebounding, and it's virtually even. Irvine 9 and Santa Clara 8. What are you seeing here for the first 9 minutes and 50 seconds?
This game's always a battle, no matter what. UC Irvine, they reload every year. Coach Russell Turner's been able to implement a system where they just plug in guys year after year. And so for the Broncos, it's really being on the attack early, and really if we can strike in transition, get some stops, get the momentum, Broncos need something to catapult this offense here early on.
Yeah, 11-8, and it is Santa Clara basketball. Carlos Stewart looking. Now he needs to get it in. It comes to Bediako, who's just checked in. Front court of Bediako and Cameron Tongue. Jaden backing down. Jaden getting in the paint. Jaden being hassled. Jaden a jump hook. Jaden scores it. And what do we have here? Count the basket and a foul on Cameron Tongue of the Broncos. So Bediako has 5. Cameron Tongue called for a push underneath.
I don't want the foul to take away from Jaden Bediako's great move down there. I mean, he had 2 ear-overs all over him, and he was able to hold onto the ball and finish strong. That was a great move from JB.
Well, and the key there is he never really brought the ball after the initial reception below his shoulders, which makes it a lot more difficult for the defender to get at it.
Absolutely.
It's Davis in the corner out to Henry. Topside it goes to Butler. Hutchinson sets a screen. Henry now center of the floor, whips a pass to Hone on the right side. Hone trying to penetrate. Fires. It's a Henry 3 on the left wing is good. And Andre Henry, after the Broncos had cut the deficit to 1, bumps it up to 4-point Irvine lead. It's 14-10. Santa Clara not getting a lot of open looks. This is Pajemski. Pajemski in trouble. Tries to float a pass. It's tipped. And now here comes Hone right down the center of the floor, dropping it off for Henry, and Cameron Tongue went right up and blocked it at the rim, but it was a goaltending. And Henry's going to get 2 more points, and Justice will come in for Kozi Akametu. So the Broncos down 16-10. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the largest lead for UC Irvine with 10:10 to play here in the first half.
And we're going to see some full court pressure here from UC Irvine.
And it comes for Carlos Stewart. Cameron Tongue releases, and now it's just Carlos and Hone. Justin Hone, the redshirt junior, averaging 9 points per game, but a good defender as well. Carlos Stewart to the right elbow, dribbling into traffic. Henry tried to reach and knock it away. Now it's Carlos whipping a pass to JB. JB back to Carlos, 10 on the timer. Pull up 15-footer is in the air and no good, and run down in the corner by Hutchinson. And Irvine will be happy with contested mid-range jump shots from Carlos Stewart tonight as they lead it by 6. Top side to Keeler, who just checked in. And a pass to Henry, nearly lost out of bounds, but Andre picks it up on the sideline. 9:26, clock rolling. Three-pointer by Hone is good.
Just unfortunate. Carlos Stewart got caught on that pick and roll screen, and it was able to allow an open 3 for the Anteaters.
8-2 run for Irvine. That three-pointer, their 3rd of the game. They are 3 of 7. Carlos Stewart driving, takes contact, and as he's falling down, banks one in.
Yeah, just a great acrobatic play by Carlos Stewart. We've seen him do that all season.
Another 3 for Hone. That one is no good, but it's ripped down by Brandon Pajemski. Bronco leading scorer Pajemski into traffic, fires for Justice. Justice! From three-point land, and the Broncos are within 4 at 19-15.
We talked about how UC Irvine does a really good job in the half court, but the Broncos are able to get up, beat them down the floor, and create easy offense opportunities right there.
Santa Clara is going to need a lot more of that. This is Hutchinson driving into traffic, throws one up with the left hand. Cameron Tongue goes up to the rim to grab the rebound. I don't think the ball was going down, but he did interfere with it, and you can count the basket. I'm not sure. Who do we give the basket to there? It goes to Hutchinson. Santa Clara not making any changes, but Hutchinson, Davis is back in, Baker's back in, and McBurney Griffin, the big forward, is checked in as well. And it comes on the run to Carlos Stewart. Carlos to Keyshawn, catch and shoot 3. You betcha!
How about that, AP? Back-to-back threes. Keyshawn Justice spotting up, ready, and really great job by the Broncos attacking that press.
21-18 is our score. Broncos now 2 of 7 from 3. McBurney Griffin, one bounce, right sideline to Davis. Davis trying to move his way around Pajemski, and a travel as Davis found him out of the double team. It was caught by McBurney Griffin, and as he turned, he saw 2 Broncos and tried to two-step around them.
Yeah, just a smart play, rotating off of the pick-and-roll defense, and really caught him by surprise there. Good job by the Broncos.
3rd turnover of the game for the Anteaters. And Russell Turner keeping me on my toes with all the different players that he likes to bring in. This is the freshman forward, Hayden Welling at 6'8", who has checked into the game. Crockerell has checked in as well. So Russell Turner, where most teams play like maybe 8 guys, he plays 10 or 11. Bediako, handoff to Justice. Baker defending him. Reverse spin dribble, dropping it off to Bediako. Bediako goes up, and he's fouled by Hutchinson. Hutchinson has picked up his first foul and will have 2 free throws coming for Bediako after this timeout. So the Broncos down 3 with 7:45 to play in the first half. It's 21-18 UC Irvine. We'll be back with more right after this break. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.
It's a great
7:45 left to go here in the first half. Broncos trailing Irvine, UC Irvine, 21-18. Anthony Passarelli, Henry Caruso, as Jaden Bediako is going to be at the line for a couple of free throws. Whether you're watching tonight on the WCC network and hearing the Broncos home radio feed, that's us, or you're listening on the TuneIn Radio Santa Clara Bronco Premium channel, or listening on AM 1220 KDOW, thank you. Bediako, 5 points with a rebound in 8 minutes, has a couple of free throws coming here. Jaden is a career 53% foul shooter, and he misses the first. He'll go through stretches where he makes 8 out of 9, and then he'll even it out over the next few games. But it's something that I know he's worked on, and it has been improving little by little. Second free throw. It's good.
And he has a good-looking shot, too. I mean, it's all there, and we've seen in games this year he's knocked down that 15-footer, catching the ball in the short roll, squaring up, knocking it down. So, you know, he's shown and proven that he can do it.
Yeah, the part of his game that has improved the most is that 5-foot jump hook that he can do over his left shoulder. He's always been a good rebounder. Crockrell looking for Davis, center of the floor, uses a screen, gets to the free throw line, now stops. Left side, it goes to Tillis, now into the hands of Baker. They double team him, finds Tillis, pump fake, goes around baseline, cut off there by Holt, now into the paint, throws out top to Davis. Davis, 4-3 on the timer, and he leans into Pajemski, and a foul is called on Pajemski, who looks like he took either an arm or an elbow, and will be called for the foul. That's the third team foul. Akametu, Tung, and now Pajemski, who has yet to score. And with the Broncos trailing 21-19 with 7:18 to play, you can credit the Anteaters and head coach Russell Turner with doing a good job on Brandon Pajemski.
Absolutely, and he's going to be at the forefront of every single opponent's scouting report.
DJ Davis, Moreno Valley, Riverside Poly High School, was the MVP of the Las Vegas Holiday Classic with wins over Nicholls State and New Mexico State. Last year, DJ, 6 points per game, 17 minutes per game. So he's had a dramatic jump in his production offensively. And he makes both free throws. The advantage is 4 at 23-19.
He's been really good for the Anteaters all season. Big West Player of the Week already. He's made noise on the West Coast and around the nation.
Absolutely. As a freshman, he came off the bench. Keyshawn Justice has his three-pointer roll off the back iron, rebounded on the weak side by Davis, finds Crockrell the second. Now it's Tillis a touch. Baker has it, and Baker being double-teamed. They throw into the corner. Tillis looks to go around Parker Brown, gets to the basket, misses the shot, and Keeler has the rebound and scores it. Dean Keeler at 6'11", 230 was on the weak side for the rebound. And Santa Clara committing the foul, and the Anteaters will go to the line here.
So the Broncos are going to double team Davis and Baker off the ball screen, which means it's going to require a tougher responsibility for the guys rotating in terms of closeouts. And what we saw right there was a rebound and a chance at a three-point play.
Keeler misses the free throw, so the Broncos get a break there. They trail by 6, 25-19. 6:43 remaining in the half. Davis cutting him off. They look to double Pajemski. Pajemski trying to dribble around the defender. Out to Parker Brown. Pump fake from 3. Doesn't want to. Puts it on the deck. Now it's into the hands of Brenton Napper. Crossover dribble. Nicely done. Napper misses the jumper from the elbow. Tillis the rebound. Crockrell cross court to Baker. Wanted a 3. Shot faked it a couple of times. This is Davis now. And a jump pass intercepted. Anticipated well by Pajemski. Pajemski to Holt. Keeler sagging way off of Holt. Now Brenton Napper. Napper going baseline. Napper underneath. Napper bouncing it to Justice. This is Jacob Holt in for the two-handed dunk. Tic-tac-toe. And the Broncos get the bucket. They're down 25-21.
Great offensive possession there. Napper working the baseline. The Broncos coaches call it a Nash dribble. Able to hit Keyshawn cutting back door, who laid it off for Holt for the slam.
We've seen every point guard in St. Mary's history do that type of dribbling. This is Davis firing a triple. That one is good, and that'll take some of the wind out of the Broncos' sails after the beautiful passing and a dunk from Holt. Davis now with 5, and the Bronco deficit is 7. Holt to the right elbow, backing down on Keeler. Leaning in, throwing out to Pajemski. Pajemski driving. Pajemski lost the handle on it as it was poked away. And now Keeler throwing it right to Pajemski. Pump fake. How was he not fouled? Parker Brown has the rebound, and Keeler fouls him there. There were probably two different opportunities for a foul to be called. And ultimately, it's on Keeler as Herb Sendick stands at the edge of the coach's box and screams across the court at the officials. And there's more than a couple of fans behind us who agree. But Russell Turner and his, like you were saying, defense and big players, that's what this team has been built on. And Parker Brown with an opportunity here with a couple of free throws. And he makes the first. We have some Bronco royalty in the house tonight. And we were always looking across court to see which Broncos former players are in town. But Ogden is always a familiar face here. And we've got the number 2 all-time leading scorer in Santa Clara history, Jared Brownridge, in the house for this one. Second free throw left short. And it's tipped and out of bounds. Tillis grabbed it, was standing out of bounds. Bronco basketball.
Good job there by Jacob Holt, keeping the possession alive. And just saying one more thing about Jared Brownridge. Great to see him in the house, and I'm glad he's sitting courtside. I think he's filled it up just one too many times to earn that spot.
Jacob Holt standing outside the arc. Couple of dribbles. This is Brenton Napper now. Now the pass goes back to Holt. Holt trying to get to the basket around Hutchinson. Throws up a wild shot, and Tillis has the rebound. Looked like Jacob got a little excited there. And now Santa Clara will try and lock down Irvine with 4:54 remaining in the first half. So clock ticking. Into the corner it goes. Baker fires a 3 and rattles it in. Baker with 5, and it's up to a 9-point advantage, 31-22. This is a stingy Irvine team, and a pass backdoor from Parker Brown intended for Napper, and it's tipped out of bounds by an anteater. Bronco basketball. Justice comes out. Akametu in. Tillis leaves. And Henry checking in. Baker leaves. And Ujadugele has also checked in. We'll see how the Broncos fare these final 4:35. Carlos Stewart defended on the perimeter right side by Crockrell. Hutchinson watching Holt. Pass for Kozi Akametu. Henry staying with him. They use the screen. Jacob Holt calling for it now. He's just on the outside, top side. Akametu pump fake, fires a 3, and it's missed. Hutchinson the rebound, and Kozi, I think, when he heard the countdown, trying to get that shot off as quickly as he could.
Yeah, Broncos just having a hard time getting in rhythm and flow on the half-court offensive possessions.
Davis, Ujadugele drives, throws a cross-court pass out of bounds right into the Bronco bench. So the Broncos get a break there on that turnover, but the Anteaters have their largest lead of the first half. It's 31-22. Irvine with 4 minutes even left to go in the opening 20 minutes. We'll be back after this. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Broncos have watched Irvine take it from a 25-21 game to a 31-22 game with that Baker three-pointer. He has 5 points. And Irvine doing everything well in this one, as they are shooting it at 52% from the floor, 5 of 10 from 3. And they are out rebounding the Broncos 15-12. And now with some full court pressure here. Jump pass as Pajimski was double teamed. Parker Brown down the lane. The ball is kicked, or at least it looked like it was kicked. And here comes Crockroll the other way. Crockroll leaning in, forces a shot up with a right hand. And the 6-foot senior from Tacoma, the transfer from Pacific, knocks it down, and it's an 11-point lead at 33-22.
And that's Crockwell's game. Steals, getting out in transition, finishing at the rim.
He could take contact and still get the shot up. We saw him do it at Pacific for 3 years, and he's doing it now with Keyshawn Justice working the dribble to the left side. Bounce pass. This is down low into Bediako. Carlos Stewart, pump fake, fires a triple, and he gets that one to go. He looked off the defender. I think he really wanted to pass it, and when he realized there was an anteater in the passing lane, he decided, I'll just knock down the 3. He has 7. Broncos down 8, 33-25.
Sometimes it's as simple as that.
The ball worked around the perimeter. Now this is Henry at the free throw line. Throws out to the left side. This is Davis. Double clutch off the window. No good. Bediako the rebound. Bediako had Davis buzzing around his shoulders. Pajimski will try a transition 3, and that's good.
Back-to-back threes for the Broncos, igniting this crowd a little bit, getting them going, and really important 2 minutes and 30 seconds here, closing out the half.
That was Brandon Pajimski's first points of the game. Has the Broncos within 5 at 33-28. Crockroll dribbling. Throws up top to Henry. Bediako out on him. Crockroll now jogging the dribble into the paint. Stops, turns, fires, gets it. That's a tricky move from Crockroll. He has 6, and it's 35-28. Parker Brown, a transition 3, and it rolls in.
He might have gotten fouled, too. He wanted the 4-point play. How about Parker Brown stepping out and knocking it down?
All of a sudden, the Broncos are grabbing the three-pointers by the handful. They're now 5 for 12 here in the first half. And with 1:53 remaining in the first half, it's 35-31 UC Irvine. Crockroll given a lot of space, gets to the left elbow, throws back to Henry, fires a 3. That one was over JB and missed. Justice the rebound. Here comes Carlos Stewart. And Stewart, cross court, wide open. Justice fires, and he buries it. He was knocked to the floor, and a flop has been called. Keyshawn Justice should get the 3.
3 will count.
But a technical will be called on Justice for a flop. Yeah, well, it was hard to see. Those of you watching on the WCC network might have seen it in the lower left corner of your screen. It's 35-34 Irvine, but in a new rule this year, the flop is no longer a warning. It's now a technical, and I'll thank Jeff Mitchell, our former public address announcer and the compliance guy here at Santa Clara, who's now back in Mississippi, for letting me know. And Davis is going to shoot the technical foul here for Irvine.
It's a tough one for Keyshawn, too. I don't think he was trying to flop. Sometimes when you're in transition, you have that momentum, you're trying to spot up and jump forward, and you take an unlucky step, and tough break there against Key.
Yeah, Davis converts. He now has 6. So the Broncos had it to 1 at 35-34. Now it's 36-34. Irvine. Baker, Butler, Hone, all coming in. Davis is going to come out. Crockroll comes out. Ujadugele also comes out. Tillis, Hone, Hutchinson, Baker, and Butler all into the game with 90 seconds remaining here in the first half as the Broncos have clawed back from being down 11 just moments ago. This is Hutchinson. He double clutches on the catch, and he lays it in. Good look. 38-34 is the score. Carlos Stewart into traffic. Ford puts one up with the right hand, and he's fouled by Hutchinson. That's his second. And the Broncos, let's be honest, the Broncos are at their best when Carlos Stewart is able to get penetration and either kick out to an open Pajimski or Justice or get himself to the foul line. He's done it so much in these last 5 games where we said he's averaged 20 points per game. And he's going to the line here for 2 free throws.
Absolutely, and he's been able to do it in a multitude of ways. Getting in the lane, finishing at the rim, dunking over defenders, and to your point, AP, he's been able to set up his teammates. I mean, he's just an absolute light bulb in transition.
12 of his last 24 three-pointers coming into play, and he's 1 for 2 in this one. He gets 1 of 2 from the line, and it's now 38-35, Irvine the lead, and it is 8 points for Carlos Stewart. 1 minute to play in the half. This is honed, forced all the way out to near midcourt. Looking for Butler. They find him on the far side. There's a screen set by Hutchinson. Baker wants to penetrate, gets into the paint. Right-handed floater, takes a lap around the iron, comes down to Parker Brown. Carlos Stewart caught it and was about to run into Justin Hone, and he caught it and then lifted it up without putting it on the floor and took an extra step and is called for the turnover, and now Irvine will call a timeout. The option there for him is to catch it and go to put it on the floor and be fouled. Basically, if there's contact there more than likely will be a foul.
Absolutely. It's a tricky spot, too. I mean, we were just talking about it a few minutes ago. Carlos Stewart wants to get out in transition. He wants to push tempo on those Anteaters defense, and smart play there by Horn, stepping in and almost like pulled the chair on him, really. And Carlos didn't want to commit that foul charge and just had a hard time putting the ball on the deck.
Broncos have struggled with turnovers here in the opening 12 games of this season, right around 14 per contest, and it's tracking so far in the first half. They've committed 7. We invite you to stick around. We are 46 and a tick away from the University Credit Union halftime show. We'll have an interview with Carlos Stewart. We'll take a look at the first half, recap it for you. We'll also look at first half statistics. That's coming up on the Bronco halftime show. 46.1 seconds. 46.1 second left to go here in the half, and the Broncos down 38-35, Irvine basketball.
Let's see if the Anteaters go a quick 2-for-1 here.
Baker fires the 3, and it is good. They got it, exactly like you were saying. Baker caught it, knew he was going to shoot it, even from distance, and he has 8 points. It's 41-35 with 33 left in the half, 25 on the timer. Broncos see if they can get a good look here. Justice working his way down the lane, right to the basket, lays it in with the left hand. So Keyshawn answers. He's got 12 in the first half. Shot clock is off. Broncos down 41-37 and 16 seconds left in the half as Hone crosses midcourt, standing at the logo, looking for Baker. Justice right up in his waistband as Baker uses the Hutchinson screen, goes returning the corner around Bediako. His jumper is missed. 1 second, and Justice will fire 3/4 the length of the court, and it will not go as the Broncos finish with a good defensive stand on the last play for Irvine. 41-37 Santa Clara. Henry, a final thought on the first half.
Great job by the Broncos at the 4-minute mark. Broncos were down 9. They were able to answer using transition offense, getting out, knocking down threes, and to your point, playing good, solid defense to close out the half. Let's see if we can build on that momentum heading into the second half.
12 points for Keyshawn Justice, leading all scorers. Don't go away. The University Credit Union halftime show is coming up. Irvine 41, Santa Clara 37. It's Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.
University.
Welcome, as we like to often do here at Santa Clara. We love to talk to the student athletes, and I'm here with Broncos sophomore guard Carlos Stewart. And Carlos, your second year, looking back to your first year last year at the Division I level and with the Broncos, what do you take away from that year in terms of growth and really the transition to the D1 level?
Well, I took that as like a growing year of really learning, really watching and studying the game, watching film, really playing behind PJ. I could really see what he did as like a fifth-year senior and the experience he had. So I feel like I took some stuff that he learned, his leadership level, and I just took it into this year. And now, I'm stepping into a role this year to where I have to be a leader and be more vocal, and that's what I'm doing for my team. I'm doing what they need.
Yeah, your role was a little different last year. Not what you were used to in high school, where you had all the minutes, but you got a chance to learn, and you got a couple of opportunities. One in particular against San Jose State, where you got a chance to start and get in there. Did that fuel you for now I kind of get what needs to be done here, and even though I'm not going to get in right away, I'm going to be ready?
Yeah, starting those 2 games last year while PJ was out, especially that San Jose State game, I felt very comfortable with the ball in my hand and running the team. And this year, when they said I was going to start the game, I was kind of already comfortable, and I was kind of happy, especially with this team in practice, just playing with them. I'm excited for this year.
All right. Now, the offseason, the team got a great opportunity and a chance to go to Europe.
Yes.
First question is, had you been before? And the second one is, what was it like?
I've never been to Europe, but it was a nice trip for my brotherhood, and it was like, we really bonded on that trip, and we really got to know each other. And it wasn't just basketball, it was just off the court, us laughing, joking around, walking around, just touring, stuff like that. So it was a great trip, and it was one of the best trips I ever took in my life. I'm not going to be honest.
Do you have a preference between Spain or France?
France, for sure.
As we're talking with Carlos Stewart here, one final question. 2 Carloses. I had Carloses on my mind with Carlos Marshall Jr. joining the team. You're Los, he's Chef.
Yes.
How did the nicknames come about?
Well, when he came in, he was like, okay, I'll be called Chef, because we never had to play with another Carlos on the team. So he already had a nickname coming in, so we just stuck with that.
Easy?
It was easy, but still, sometimes when the coaches say Los or the players say Los, we kind of both look, and it kind of makes it a little, but it's nothing.
All right, well, we're looking forward to a good second season for you and watching you play for the Broncos. Carlos Stewart with us, and Carlos, thanks a lot.
Hey, go Broncos.
You're listening to Santa Clara Broncos basketball on AM 1220 KDOW.
Back here inside the Levy Center on the University Credit Union halftime show, Anthony Passarelli with you as it's 41-37 UC Irvine at the break. Recapping the first half, and these two teams, again, just played last year, even though UC Irvine has quite a few new players in the rotation. They played 13 players in the first half, and early on they were knocking down three-pointers. They finished with 6 in the first half. Broncos had to fight back, thankfully getting Carlos Stewart on track. Brandon Pajimski, though he only scored 3 points, was able to get his teammates involved. And Keyshawn Justice helped Santa Clara, even though they were down 31, or rather 33 to 22 as Irvine went on a 12-3 run. Keyshawn Justice knocked down a couple of three-pointers. As we talked about, Pajimski doing the same thing. And you saw Parker Brown in there and Jacob Holt. And that's where we end up, 41-37. This is going to be a very, very good second half. We'll talk about first half statistics when we come back on the University Credit Union Halftime Show. It's UC Irvine 41, Santa Clara 37, and it's Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.
You're listening to Santa Clara Broncos basketball on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back to the University Credit Union Halftime Show as UC Irvine, leading Santa Clara 41-37 at the break. Our halftime stats are brought to you by Lexus of Stevens Creek, the preferred luxury car dealer of the Broncos. And Santa Clara was outshot in the first half, 52% to 46%. As the Anteaters went 6 of 12 from 3. The Broncos started slowly but finished 6 of 13. Santa Clara just 5 of 10 from the line and out-rebounded the Anteaters 16 to 15. As far as turnovers go, 7 turnovers to 6 for UC Irvine. And how about this? Bench points, 19 to 2 in favor of Irvine, who played 13 different players in the first half. We'll come back and have the start of the second half. Broncos trailing UC Irvine here in Santa Clara 41-37. It is Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Welcome back to the Levy Center. Anthony Passarelli, Henry Caruso, Bay Area product, Sarah High School, Princeton University, and then back to Santa Clara. Santa Clara trailing 41-37 at the break. Henry, your keys for the start of the second half for the Broncos, who, when all the statistics were said and done for the first half, things looked very close, if not even, and the Broncos are down 4.
Broncos need to continue getting out in transition. It's been a gold mine for them in the first half. Have to continue that momentum into the second half. And then with half-court offense, being patient, recognizing what UC Irvine's doing, whether that be in the low post or on ball screens, and using that to our advantage. So it'll be a good second half here, and defensively, building on the momentum. Has some key stops down the stretch. Really need to accelerate that and keep those going.
Well, and Russell Turner's Anteaters did a fantastic job in the first half on Brandon Pajimski, the Broncos' leading scorer, coming in at 19, just over 19 points per game and 9 rebounds. It's not that Brandon was missing shots. He just didn't get a lot of shots, period. 1 for 3 from the floor. That was a made three-pointer. His 4 rebounds tied for the team high with Jacob Holt. And he played 16 minutes, but a player like Brandon, if he's not getting shots, will help you in other areas, and that's what he did in the first half.
Absolutely, and credit to UC Irvine. Obviously, they're keen on Brandon a lot, but we've seen it a lot this year. He's been able to explode for some huge second-half performances.
The front court duo for the Broncos of Bediako and Brown combined for 12 points on 4 of 7 shooting and 5 rebounds. And the Broncos need just a little bit more out of those two and some help from the bench. The starters played 15, 12, 16, 16, and 16 minutes. Napper came off the bench to play 9, Holt 8, Akametu 4, and Cam Tung 4. And so we'll see. We were talking, Herb Sendick is a master at utilizing his personnel from a clock standpoint and knowing just, how to make the most out of a timeout and maybe take somebody out 30 seconds before a timeout hits and then put him back in 30 seconds after the timeout. So we'll see what Santa Clara and Herb Sendick do here in the second half. Anteaters moving right to left in the second half. And we are underway with Pierre Crockrell Jr. topside to Baker. Bounce pass to Leukton. Leukton, a couple of dribbles, now Baker. Broncos double, finding Leukton, cross court. Wide open, Tillis fires a three-pointer, and it is good. And that is not how the Broncos wanted to start the second half, as that Tillis 3 makes it a 7-point lead at 44-37. Carlos Stewart now. Pajimski is open on the wing, but Davis recovers nicely. Couple of screens set. Now it's Parker Brown looking. He has Tillis defending him and swiping at the basketball. And that's got to be a foul, as Tillis, there was no way he was going to get the ball, but he thought maybe if he dove for it, he could knock it away, and he ended up taking out the legs of Parker Brown. And Tillis has picked up his first. We haven't talked much about Russell Turner, 52 years old in his 13th season. But should the Anteaters win tonight, it would be career win number 250 with stops at Wake Forest. He was an assistant under Dave Odom. Stanford, Mike Montgomery. And then in the NBA with Montgomery and Don Nelson with the Warriors an assistant. Pajimski to the elbow. Bounce pass down low into Bediako off the window. Took a hard right once it got up there and fell off. So a minute into the second half, and the Broncos are trailing by 7, and it's Anteater basketball. Baker, Crockrell directing traffic. Cross-court Tillis. Pump fake. Goes around Brown. Cut off baseline by Bediako. Out to Baker, and his three-pointer is good. Baker with the triple, and Herb Sendick calls a timeout. So it went from a 4-point deficit to a 10-point deficit in 2 quick shots. Herb Sendick calls a timeout. We will take a break. 18:40 remaining second half. Long way to go. Broncos down 10 to Irvine. UC Irvine 47, Santa Clara 37. And we'll be back to the Levy Center after this break. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.
You're listening to Santa Clara Broncos basketball on AM 1220 KDOW.
Santa Clara fans, now's your chance to show your Broncos spirit. University Credit Union exclusively offering a Bronco Rewards credit card. You get the ability to earn unlimited rewards points. And if you become a University Credit Union member, you get a Bronco debit card. Find out more, ucu.org. Broncos have come up short on their only shot in the second half and a couple of threes and a couple of attempts, and the Anteaters have gone from up 4 to up 10 in the blink of an eye, just a minute and 21 seconds into the second half. Santa Clara needs to make some adjustments. If you're Herb Sendick and you're calling a timeout there, what are you saying?
It's too easy right now for UC Irvine. They're catching and able to square up to the basket and shoot, knock down these threes. Broncos need to key on knowing their personnel and making it more difficult here for the Anteaters.
Broncos did not make any personnel adjustments coming out of that timeout. Wanting to find Parker Brown. There's an entry pass right of the lane. Tillis defending. Pajemski catches it, and he's run into. Goes high off the window, misses the shot. I'm not sure how you don't call a foul on that. But nevertheless, it's Davis at the other end of the floor. Stopping, looking, throwing to Crockrell into the paint. Now keeps the dribble going. Comes out of the paint. Loichten to Baker, reverse, going baseline, goes off the window, misses the shot, tipped by Loichten. He cannot corral it, and here come the Broncos into the front court with Pajemski. Pajemski, Keyshawn Justice will fire at three. That one misses. Tillis the rebound as Loichten clogging up space in the key, keeping the Broncos off the glass. Tillis hands off to Baker. Ball was tipped, but Loichten corralled it. 2 minutes, 15 seconds into the second half. This is Baker. He'll pull from there. Instead, he's driving right elbow. Floater, misses back iron. This is over the baseline. It'll be Bronco basketball.
Good job there by Justice getting back in the play. Baker, he can score in a variety of ways. We've seen it tonight from behind the arc. This time getting in the lane. Keyshawn stayed with the play, and ultimately Broncos able to corral that one.
Baker was the Big West Freshman of the Year. And then last year, averaged 11 points per game. But he's a more mature player. After graduated high school, went on a 2-year mission. Keyshawn Justice going down the lane, gives it off to Bediako. Bediako, a little jump hook. And that's that jump hook shot we were talking about. He now has 8 points. And the Broncos now trail 47-39. And they're going to need a lot more of that. And there's a tip. Intercepted. Bediako going to go the length of the floor. And he dunks it. Bediako the steal and cashes in at the other end.
Send it in, big fella. How about JB getting out in the passing lane and able to take it the length of the floor for a big slam.
47-41. Crockrell driving, goes off the window, misses the shot, but the putback from Loichten, the 7-footer, who was sniffing around the glass off of that missed shot. Advantage is 8. They go down low to JB. JB feeling it, wants to go on Loichten. In trouble underneath the basket. There's a jump hook, and it's on the rim and missed. They went to the well and came up dry there as Crockrell now spinning into the paint. Has it taken off of him by Keyshawn Justice. Keyshawn accelerating, going to the basket, and do we have a foul call? The ball went out of bounds. Baker hit the deck. I don't think a foul, but it'll be Bronco ball as Dean Keeler will check in for Loichten. Bronco's going to break as Key went right up against the 7-footer. Could have very easily had it blocked, but it's Bronco basketball. And it comes to Justice with Baker on him. Key out to Parker Brown. Brown to Pajemski. 16-11 left in the second half. Pajemski dribbling into traffic. Pajemski stops, goes off the window, and scores it. And Russell Turner was yelling travel from the other end in front of the Anteater bench. Doesn't get the call, and it's 49-43 Irvine.
Good patience there by Pajemski.
This is Crockrell again. Right elbow pull-up jumper. Left it short. Ball is knocked out of the hands of Pajemski. Right to Keyshawn. And it's Bronco basketball. Trailing by 6 here. And that's got to be a foul as Baker with a bear hug around Keyshawn Justice, who had just run him into a Jaden Bediako screen. And I think Baker's worse for wear here as he's grimacing as he heads back to the Anteater bench, and we have a timeout. The under-16 timeout. It's immediate timeout, and it's mandatory. 15:40 left to go second half. Bronco ball when we return. They're down by 6. Irvine 49, Santa Clara 43, and it's Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Out of the mandatory timeout, Bronco basketball. They were trailing by 10 just moments ago and now have it down to 6 with possession. Here in the second half, UC Irvine 3 of 7 floor. Broncos 3 of 7 from the floor. And the Anteaters out rebounding the Broncos 5-3. Pajemski, Napper, Holt, Justice, and Parker Brown for Santa Clara. Hone has checked in. Davis is in. Keeler is in. Baker and Ujadugele also into the game as Brenton Napper will give Carlos Stewart a break. And we'll see what the redshirt freshman can do for Santa Clara. Jacob Holt, 1 bounce, 2 bounce, finds Pajemski. Left elbow, a left-handed push shot is missed. And Pajemski has made those shots so many times, came up just short there. This is Davis. Baker down low. Ujadugele dribbles out to the paint and then has it taken away as he went into the paint and then threw a blind pass out to the perimeter, and it was intercepted there. Keyshawn Justice down the lane. Jacob Holt on the dish and the dunk.
Great penetration there, and as you can see, Coach Scott Garson really reminding the bigs to set screens, and on back-to-back possessions we've seen good screen set by the bigs, and it's allowed great opportunities for this Bronco offense.
Hone, who hit a couple of three-pointers in the first half. Correction, 1 for 3, but a good outside shooter. Broncos defending him. Now Parker Brown is on Baker on the switch. They double team, and it goes to Keeler. Throws to Ujadugele, now to Keeler, and Keeler lays it in. The Broncos were chasing that entire play.
Absolutely. When we are doubling Baker and Davis, it's going to create opportunities on the back end for the Anteaters. That's what the Broncos are giving up by playing this aggressive ball screen defense.
Parker Brown flipping it up with the left hand. Can't get it to go down. Rebounded by Hone. It's a 2-on-3. Hone accelerating, going right to the basket and laying it in. Nobody stopped Justin Hone. 53-45. It's up to an 8-point advantage. 14 minutes left to go in the second half as Napper throwing to Jacob Holt. Backdoor and a pass intended for Pajemski is intercepted. That was telegraphed, and now Hone going right at Jacob Holt. He is fouled and he lays it in, and he's going to go to the line.
Just an unfortunate play there. Holt looking for the back door. Right idea just wasn't there. And then the Anteaters able to respond in transition, going right at the rim, and an opportunity here for a 3-point play.
And now a good old-fashioned hockey line change is Baker, Davis. We thought Keeler was coming out, but he's not. Henry is in. And also into the game is J.C. Butler as Hone's opportunity for a 3-point play to push it to an 11-point lead. 55-45 is the score. The Broncos have been outscored in this run, 6-0. And Hone converts the 3-point play. 8 points for him. 56-45.
Full court pressure here. Bronco guards need to get open.
Brent Napper was open there for a second, but the ball was never given to Parker Brown. So the Broncos do not get a break there. And Pajemski looking, and a timeout from Parker Brown. He was not going to beat the 5-second call. And the Broncos have used one of their timeouts. And it is a 30-second timeout, so we will keep it here. And take a look at the upcoming schedule for Santa Clara. I think this is a stretch of 5 games in 12 days. And it pretty much all started against San Jose State on the 10th with a victory. A loss, 75-64, and then a victory over Portland State, 78-75. Irvine tonight. The Cal Bears come to town. That'll be at 2 o'clock on Sunday. And then the last game before the Christmas holiday, Thursday, December 22nd, Boise State, a very good Boise State team, is in town at 2 o'clock as well. So a Thursday matinee. And you have all that time to buy tickets for the next 2 games after Christmas. The 29th, San Francisco is in town. And St. Mary's on New Year's Eve, 4 o'clock. Great stocking stuffers. 408-554-4660 or SantaClaraBroncos.com. An 11-point advantage. Matching the largest lead of the game. Bronco basketball. Irvine with the lead. Jacob Holt looking for help here. And it's Keyshawn Justice, a catch-and-shoot 3. It is missed. Parker Brown tips it, and it goes out of bounds off of Parker. You could tell when that ball left Key's hand, it was a little bit off and just off the mark. Bediako, Cameron Tongue, and Carlos Stewart will check in. Brandon Pajimski, Jacob Holt, and Parker Brown will come out. And the Broncos, 4 of 11 in the second half. Irvine, 6 for 10. And out-rebounding Santa Clara, 8-3. Justin Hone had 11 points against the Broncos here last year. 3 of 4 from three-point land. J.C. Butler, a couple of dribbles. Andre Henry out near the logo, now and into the hands of Hone. Hone was going to use the screen and we've got a travel here as Ujadugele walked with it after he caught it. They were trying to find Dean Keeler, the big man underneath, but they turn it over. That's the 10th turnover of the game, 4th here in the second half, and those turnovers are the difference between a comfortable Irvine lead and Santa Clara having a chance to get this into single digits. As Brenton Napper moves into the front court. Right sideline to Keyshawn Justice. Cameron Tongue now hands off to Keyshawn, who's going downhill. Flares out to the left sideline, finding Bediako. Bediako holding it now. Broncos doing a lot of showing up top and then cutting back door. 9 on the timer, 8 on the timer. Keyshawn Justice rises, fires the 3. He scores it, and he is fouled by Andre Henry.
How about Keyshawn Justice? Just when you thought the Broncos were dead in water on that possession, he comes around the screen, takes one dribble, rises, fires, knocks it down, and draws the foul.
Well, earlier, not that long ago, as in terms of game time, he made a three-pointer and was called for a flop, which resulted in a technical free throw. That was made by DJ Davis. So a three-point basket and a missed free throw that could have made it a 4-point play. Bronco free throws 5 of 11 here in this game. Justin Hone, Ujadugele runs right over Cameron Tongue, and an offensive foul is called. And those are the types of plays that can get a team energized. Ujadugele picks up his second. That is the 4th team foul on Irvine here in the second half. And I'm trying to check to see where I might have missed a foul. Hutchinson has a couple. Full court pressure again. And it kind of relaxes as Brenton Napper makes his way to the front court. Backcourt of Napper, Stewart, and Justice. Napper being hounded by Hone. The ball is tipped and kept by Brenton Napper. Topside Bediako into the hands of Keyshawn. Keyshawn has it go off his foot. Picks it up out near midcourt. Bediako a touch. Back to Key. Key fires and knocks down a 3.
Keyshawn getting hot here. Back-to-back threes, igniting this crowd, clapping his hands.
Well, he did that in the first half. Sorry, Henry. He has 6 three-pointers in the game. Tillis on that far sideline. Down low it goes into Keeler. Brenton Napper defending. Keeler backing him down. Keeler in trouble. Keeler throws out top to Hone. Hone penetrates, throws it down low, and the ball is loose and will go out of bounds off Keeler, who kicked it.
Great defensive rotation. Bediako there, not giving up on the play, able to knock it off. An anteater. Bronco basketball.
11:50 remaining, and we have a timeout on the floor. Broncos within 5. They have the basketball when we return. UC Irvine 56, Santa Clara 51, and we'll be back to the Levy Center after this. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Broncos on a 6-0 run thanks to Keyshawn Justice. He has a game-high 18 points, 6 for 10 from the floor, 5 for 9 from three-point land. I think I said he'd made 6 threes, but it is only 5. I say that with tongue-in-cheek. 4 rebounds, 3 assists in 24 minutes. And the Broncos have the ball down by 4 here at 56-51. Broncos with Napper, Stewart, Justice, Cameron Tongue, and Jaden Bediako. Topside to Cameron Tongue, nearly throws it away, but it's caught by Keyshawn. Defended by Butler, dribbles it to the sideline. Now looking for Carlos Stewart. Finds Bediako, back to Key. Key floating, driving, fouled. And there's a foul on Irvine. The foul will be on J.C. Butler. That is his first and the 5th team foul. And that sends the Broncos to the line. Clock stops at 11:31. 2 free throws for Keyshawn Justice.
He's been great here in the second half, really showing his senior leadership, taking over this game and really igniting the Bronco offense.
First free throw for Keyshawn is good. I was looking at the career numbers earlier today, Bronco foul shooters, and Keyshawn Justice is a career 82% foul shooter. That's not too bad.
Not too bad at all. It's a testament to his hard work, dedication, and just really strong mental focus.
He makes them both. He has 20. Broncos are down 56-53. And a long three-pointer for J.C. Butler is good at the other end. And again, Irvine doing a good job taking the wind out of the Broncos' sails. Justice will fire another 3, and he gets that one from the wing.
As the young kids call it, putting the team on his back, Keyshawn Justice doing everything right here for the Broncos.
59-56, UC Irvine with the lead and the ball. Butler, who just knocked down that 3, into the hands of Tillis. Left sideline, this is Davis, dribbling to the center of the floor, chased by Justice. A flip into the corner, wide open look for Justin Hone, and he misses the shot. Tipping it to himself is Bediako. Front court, into the hands of Justice. Broncos can tie it here with a three-pointer. Cam Tongue on the baseline left, wanting to go to work on Tillis, and Tillis swipes at it and knocks it out of bounds over the baseline. It's Santa Clara basketball, and as the ball goes out of bounds, Herb Sendick yells for Brandon Pajimski to head to the scorer's table. Brenton Napper did a really nice job. He didn't score, he didn't have an assist, but he kind of calmed things down a little bit. And now Carlos Stewart will take over the point guard duties here. Carlos, corner 3 for the tie. Yes!
Great shot there by Carlos, inbounding the ball, runs to get the ball and knocks it down from the corner. Broncos tying it up here, AP.
10:24 left to go second half. All square at 59. Davis picks up the dribble. Cross court to Butler beyond the arc. Back to Davis. Pajimski defending him. Hutchinson tries to set a screen, then rolls to the basket. Davis throws it over the top to Tillis. Tillis driving to the rim, and the shot is good. It was partially blocked. But Tillis, former UNLV player, has 5 points in the second half. And Irvine has gone back on top, 61-59. Changes as Hutchinson leaves. Loykton is in. Crockrell comes on for Hone. And so, with such a deep bench, Russell Turner's been able to give Crockrell and Loykton a bit of a break here. So the Broncos down 2 inside of 10 minutes to play. We've got a whistle, and this is Butler called for a hold. That will be the 6th team foul. And the second on Butler. But the 6th team foul in the second half. Now it'll be Baker for Butler. So you're starting to see some of the starters get back into the game here for Russell Turner.
Smart play there by Pajemski. He knows he's getting overplayed, able to draw the foul.
Akametu in for Santa Clara, and it comes to Cameron Tongue. Power dribble right to the rack, rolls it in.
Yeah, and that's a great job by Cameron Tongue off the bench, coming in, making a play for his team.
And for Cameron Tongue, his first basket of the game ties it at 61. Tillis, 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, over toward the sideline, hands it off to Baker. Broncos double team Baker. Still on the left sideline, this is Tillis. Into the block, left to the lane, this is Loykton. Cross court, Baker, pump fake from 3, down the lane, blocked, and a foul is called. Jaden Bediako called for a foul, and it looked like a clean block. I thought maybe, if anything, contact before that point. But Jaden whistled for that one, and Baker is going to go to the line for free throws here. Bediako very active there. Baker, an 83% foul shooter coming in, 19 of 23. And makes the first. Baker attempting his first free throw of the night, and he makes it. One more coming to give Irvine a 2-point lead. In the air, and no good. Koziaka Metu the rebound. Incidentally, with 6 3-pointers, Keyshawn Justice has tied a career high, and that's the second Bronco in the season to hit that many threes. Drive to the basket, left to the lane, baseline, off the glass, and in for Carlos Stewart. And the Broncos lead at 63-62.
I know we've seen him make so many of those plays, but every time he does, it amazes me.
Loichten a three, back iron miss. Cam Tung the rebound. And the Broncos starting to get some momentum here with 8:47 left to play in the second half. Pajemski driving baseline. Pajemski keeping the dribble alive, backing the defender down, trying to spin. His defender falls down. It was Davis that lost his footing, leaving Pajemski wide open to lay it in.
How about the body control and the composure there by Pajemski?
65-62 Santa Clara. Davis a floater, misses off the back iron, and it's tipped out of bounds by Loichten. No, last touched by Pajemski. And a huge break for UC Irvine as Loichten looked like he'd gone over the top of Pajemski. Russell Turner stands, hands in his pocket in front of the Irvine bench. Crockroll to throw it in. It's Baker. Baker, catch, and he fires an off-balance three. It's an air ball caught by Stewart, and Crockroll fouls him.
Free throws coming for the Broncos.
Well, I'm not sure what Baker was doing. I think he was more trying to draw a foul than he was to knock down a three. And when he realized the contact wasn't there, he was forced to shoot an off-balance shot. It was an air ball. Carlos Stewart caught it, and according to the officials, Pierre Crockroll ran into Stewart, that being the 7th team foul. Like you said, Henry, 1-and-1 opportunity for Carlos Stewart. First one in the air, and good. Carlos Stewart with 14. He had 8 at halftime. Bronco leads 66-62 with 8:16 to play. An eternity here for Bronco fans and Herb Sendick and the coaching staff, but the Broncos know they have more work to do against a very good Irvine team. Stewart makes them both. He has 15. 67-62 Santa Clara. Tillis and Baker playing catch on the perimeter right. 8:08 left to go. Broncos doubling Baker. Now into the hands of Crockroll. Looking to go around Carlos Stewart. Fall away. Floater. Got it. That's a strong move from not a big guard. A 6-foot, 180-pounder. Crockroll has done it a couple of times tonight. He has 8, and the Bronco lead is 67-64. Pajemski. Koziaka Metu. Couple of dribbles. Carlos Stewart. 3-ball in the air. That one is missed. Loichten the rebound as the defender fell down once more. Crockroll looking to accelerate. Gets into traffic, and it was knocked out of bounds. Last touch by UC Irvine. Broncos forcing turnovers. That is the 7th turnover in the second half for UC Irvine to the Broncos 1. Santa Clara upping their shooting percentage close to 58% second half. And that's why the Broncos lead at 67-64. We have the under 8 media timeout at 7:33. Back to Santa Clara after this. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Keyshawn Justice leading the way for Santa Clara with 23, 6 for 10 from 3. And the Broncos have a 3-point advantage, 67-64. It's Bronco basketball in their backcourt with 7:33 to play in the second half. Glad you could join us tonight. We've got another good one here at the Levy Center as the Broncos playing all 9 of their games at home during the month of December. Inbounded to Brandon Pajimski, flips it to Carlos Stewart, crosses midcourt on the left side. Clock churning below 7:25 left second half. Jaden Bediako holding, now handing to Keyshawn Justice, fires a 3, and another one is good. And that is a new career high for Keyshawn Justice, his 7th three-pointer, and he ties a career high with 26. Broncos lead 70-64. Now it's about defense for SCU. Baker double teamed out near the perimeter. Broncos sticking with him. Now it's Crockrell. Fumbles it between his legs and then turns and picks it up with 9. 8 on the timer. Uses the Leuchten screen. Gets to the right elbow. Stops. Looking. Firing. It's in the air. Comes out. Leuchten goes right over the top of Cam Tung. And the shot is blocked. But a foul is called on Santa Clara as Cameron Tung is saying that Leuchten fouled him going over him to get that rebound. And he's not going to get the call. Cam picks up his second. And that means Leuchten is at the line for 2 shots.
Bad break there for the Broncos, playing great defense for 30 seconds, just weren't able to grab that rebound.
Leuchten, a 69% foul shooter. He has not attempted a free throw in this game. The big 7-footer, a right-handed push shot is through like he's been doing it that way for years. Crockrell leaves. Justin Hone is on. Bronco lead is 70-65 with 6:44 left. Bronco assistants, Scott Garson, Jason Ludwig shouting instructions. Leuchten makes the second. He has 7. He'll come out. Keeler, Tillis, Baker, Hone, and Davis on the floor for Russell Turner. His team picked to finish 4th in the Big West preseason coaches poll. Broncos lead 70-66. Keyshawn Justice remains on the floor for Santa Clara. Herb Sendick nearly fell down trying to motion for Cameron Tung to go through after the pass. Carlos Stewart as the Broncos facing a zone here. 7 on the timer. Pajimski in trouble. Carlos Stewart rises and fires, and he's fouled on a 3-point shot. Justin Hone got him on the line.
Fortunate play there for the Broncos. For about 29 seconds, wasn't sure if they even recognized it was zone defense, but
it took me 15.
But credit to Carlos, he was able to rise and fire and draw the foul.
I meant to say got him on the arm, not on the line. He was well behind the line as Carlos's first free throw is good. And that's just kind of a mental error there from Justin Hone. Even though Carlos has been shooting very well from 3. First one is good. Second one is good. He has 17 points. Cameron Tung comes out. Parker Brown is in. Cameron is largest minute output of the season with 11 as Stewart makes all 3. And now the Bronco lead is 73-66. 6:07 clock running. Hone defended by Carlos Stewart beyond the arc. Baker around a screen, down the lane. Runner is good. It was a floater, and Baker knocks it down. He has 14 points. And that is a team high. Parker Brown, free throw line. Justice out to Stewart. Ball fake to the left. Carlos Stewart will back it out now. Broncos up by 5. Now it goes to Pajimski. Top side, Brandon. 10 on the timer. 9, 8 on the timer. Bediako looking to set a screen. Push to the corner. Key, catch and shoot 3. That's going to be well short as he really had to force that one. Hone the rebound. Good defensive work by the Anteaters. Down 5, and Carlos Stewart knocks it out of bounds on that far sideline with 5:21 to play. And Russell Turner mentioning something to Michael Greenstein about you can call a foul on that if you want. And Greenstein just kind of shook his head and stands right in front of the Anteater bench. Baker to Justin Hone out near the logo at midcourt. Angles the dribble to the right side. Tillis will fire a straight on three. That is missed, but the long rebound to Davis. Davis tries to go baseline on Pajemski, but he's cut off. Baker right sideline. Keeler sets a screen. Baker to Tillis. Through the hands of Davis and out of bounds. He took his eye off of it, and it went right into the Anteater bench.
Absolutely. And these are important offensive possession here for the Broncos. First and foremost, have to break the press. And then these last two possessions, we've seen the Anteaters go into a zone defense, getting the ball into the middle, into the attacking point of the Anteater defense is going to be key.
Broncos have made 8 of their last 10 from the floor, but this zone has provided a little bit of a difficulty these last couple of possessions. Broncos slow to get into their offense against this zone. Carlos Stewart out top. Pajemski, free throw line extended left side. One-handed pass to Keyshawn Justice. Now into the corner. Parker Brown, a rainbow three. It's an air ball that went over the rim and on one bounce picked up by DJ Davis for UC Irvine. And that should be an offensive foul, but no, it's a blocking foul on Brandon Pajemski. Second personal foul. Looked like he had position, but admittedly, we don't have the best vantage point to make that call, so we're glad there are 3 officials out there to do it for us.
It was close.
Fourth team foul on the Broncos. Irvine have committed 8. Tillis, left elbow, looking for Hone, but couldn't find him. Tillis picks up the dribble. Out top it comes to Hone. He's at 30 feet. Hone, free throw line, bouncing off of Carlos Stewart. Offensive foul. Hone kind of leaned into where Carlos Stewart was and ended up pushing the Bronco sophomore off balance. And the call was made. That's the 9th team foul. And with 4:14 to play and the Broncos up 5, Irvine just a foul shy of the double bonus. But the Broncos have now gone over 2 minutes without a point. Carlos Stewart picked up by Hone. Now crosses midcourt, playing catch with Parker Brown beyond the perimeter. Keyshawn Justice in the corner. Pump fake from 3. Carlos Stewart rise and fire a triple. Got it! What a big shot for Carlos. 21 points for the sophomore, and the Bronco lead is 8. 76-68, 3:44 to play. Tillis is wide open, but Bediako closes quickly on the far sideline. Now Tillis puts it on the deck. 2 bounces into the hands of Hone. Hone, crossover dribble, down the lane, tries to shuffle it off to Keeler. Keeler tried to grab it and lost it out of bounds. And Keeler protesting, but it'll be Bronco ball with 3:30 to play, and Santa Clara up 76-68. We'll take the under 4 media timeout. 3:30 left in regulation. Don't go away. It's Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Back inside the Levy Center. Good to have you with us on the WCC network for the video feed. The audio being provided by yours truly, Anthony and Henry, via TuneIn Radio, the premium channel for Santa Clara, and AM 1220 KDOW. There we are. Thanks, guys. Broncos with the basketball, leading by 8 with 3.5 to play. The work is not done for Santa Clara, though they've shot the ball at 57% here in the second half. 6 of 11 from three-point land. Jaden Bediako out beyond the arc, into the hands of Keyshawn Justice, down the lane. Key throws to Carlos Stewart. Another three. You betcha!
Back-to-back possessions. Carlos Stewart knocking it down, and it's been the dribble drive to a kick to Stewart, and he's knocked it down.
79-68. Back-to-back possessions. How about back-to-back 24-point games for Keyshawn? Or correction, Carlos. Now it's Bediako on the steal. That's his second steal of the night. Carlos in the corner. Another three. You betcha! 27 for Carlos Stewart. 82-68 Santa Clara, and a foul on Pajemski. The Broncos, a 9-0 run. 12-2 over the last 3:36. And Carlos Stewart, a game-high 27, a new career high for the Broncos sophomore.
He's been awesome. I mean, really just on fire these last few games, and it's carried over here tonight. Knocking down 5 threes. Unbelievable.
Pajemski's third. This is Davis, a set shot three, and it wedges in between the rim and the glass. And it's Bronco basketball. Russell Turner is having a conversation with Kip Kissinger. Bronco basketball. Keyshawn Justice throwing it into the front court to Parker Brown. Broncos are going to use some clock here. They're up by 14. This is the largest lead of the game for Santa Clara. Remember, the Broncos have lost all 6 meetings between these two teams dating back to 1974. Dribbling out near the logo. This is Brandon Pajemski. Davis, hand on his hip. 4 on the timer. Brandon to the free throw line. Down the lane. Keyshawn reverse. Can't get it to go. The follow is missed. And Davis tips it to Keeler, who throws it to Davis, who throws it to Crockroll. Into the front court. Crossover dribble. Floater off the window. No good. Crockroll was making those in the first half. He leaves that one a little bit short. And now it's Bronco ball with a $1:48. Herb Sendick saying, everybody, listen to me. He's got his hands in the air. You can see him at the top of your screen if you're watching on the WCC network. But trust me, for those on the radio, a drive for Parker Brown, and we'll have a Keeler foul just inside the free throw line. That is his third, and 2 free throws coming with 1:37 remaining for Santa Clara.
Really good composure there. Obviously, Anteater's trying to double, create havoc on Carlos Stewart. He's able to dish it off to Parker Brown, and he made the heads-up play and drew the foul.
Brown's first free throw is no good. Brown now 1 for 3 from the line. Santa Clara was 7 of 8 in the second half before that one. And so Parker going to wipe some of that moisture off his hands on those shorts, and we'll give it another try here with 97 seconds left in the second half. Second free throw, that one is good. So Brown pushes the Bronco advantage to 15 at 83-68. And with 97 seconds left, it's getting close to being put away for Santa Clara, but not quite yet. Hone defended out beyond the perimeter. This one in the corner. Tillis into the paint. Tillis stops, throws to Hone. Catch and shoot three is good. Well, we know he can do it. He's an excellent three-point shooter. He has 11. And now it's Bronco basketball moving into the front court. Parker Brown is fouled as Baker was on the other side of the floor, made a beeline to Parker and fouled him with 1:13 to play, and the Broncos up 12. Baker's second foul. Parker has 2 free throws. And the clock stopped with 1:13 to play. Last year, Broncos lost 69-65 to Irvine, despite having a halftime lead. First free throw, too strong, back iron and off. Chaz Hutchinson will come into the game for Keeler. Baker with 14, Hone with 11, no other Anteater in double figures. The Broncos 27 from Stewart, 26 from Keyshawn, 10 and 4 for Bediako. Brown's second free throw is around the rim and good. So the Broncos push it back up to 13. 84-71 the score. Davis out near midcourt. This is Tillis driving. He takes a bump from Parker Brown. And the clock stops on the foul committed by Brown with 1:06 to play. Parker picks it up. That stops the clock. It was not a bonus situation, and it was well before the shot was taken. Bediako leaves. The officials are asking the Bronco bench to sit down. Baker in the corner. Baker catch and shoot three. Baker misses. Keyshawn the rebound with 1 minute to play, and the Broncos up 13. And Santa Clara should feel pretty comfortable at this point as Pajemski dribbling on the sideline, far side, being chased and calls a timeout with 51.5 seconds remaining and 19 on the timer. We will take a break here with 51.5 seconds left. Broncos 84, Irvine 71. We'll be back. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.
It's now time for the Santa Clara Broncos.
Not quite ready for the postgame show as Anthony Passarelli with you here. Ball into the hands on the left side of Brenton Napper. Napper driving baseline. Napper cut off in the corner. Napper holding. Napper throwing it out, and it's intercepted by Davis with 37.5 seconds left. Davis cross court. This is an open three for Hone, and Hone knocks it down. We're not quite ready for the postgame show as the three-pointer by Justin Hone makes it 84-74 as Carlos Stewart into the front court. Carlos Stewart is fouled, and with 24.9 seconds left, it will be Santa Clara basketball. And the Broncos lead 84-74. Carlos Stewart to the line. He already has a career-high 27 and can really put the final stamp on this one for the Broncos. 28 now for Carlos as he makes the first free throw. Second one in the air, and that one is good. So 29 for Carlos Stewart. Broncos are going to win this game. 86-84 is the score. And a near steal. Brandon Pajemski as the ball was knocked away. Brandon looking. Brandon losing the handle on it. Brandon still trying to keep it away from the defenders. And ultimately, with 11 seconds left, we have a tied ball possession favoring UC Irvine, and Santa Clara is going to win this game. They put 86 points at least on an Irvine team that had been giving up only 63 per game. Baker looking to inbound. Baker throwing up top to Tillis, down the lane on Keyshawn. Uses the window, misses the shot, rebounded by Pajemski with 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. And that will do it. The Broncos get the victory over the UC Irvine Anteaters for the first time in program history. Final score, Santa Clara 86, UC Irvine 74. Handshakes for the Broncos and the Anteaters as the fans on their feet here at the Levy Center. We will take our break and come back with the post-game show, the Rabbit Office Automation post-game show. Right after this, it's a win for the Broncos. And it's Bronco basketball from Van Wagner. Welcome back inside the Levy Center. Broncos win by 12 in a game. They trailed by 4 at halftime. Anthony Passarelli and Henry Caruso with you. And, New Mexico State, Portland State, and now this one. These games, if you are not excited by this, I'm worried for you. You're excited. I'm excited. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on this one. A big second half for Santa Clara.
Huge second half, and really just the shooting from Carlos Stewart, Keyshawn Justice. Obviously, they're going to highlight everything on this win. But I thought it was just a little adjustments that Santa Clara made on the offense and defensive end. And really just the energy in this building picked up. And ultimately, Broncos coming out on top over a very good UC Irvine team. This is a quality win for the Broncos.
The Broncos made 14 three-pointers. And in the second half, they were 8 of 13. We're not going to go through all the statistics right now. But as we said, Santa Clara scored just 37 points in the first half, and they finished with 86. That is an outstanding output for a Bronco team against a UC Irvine side that was only giving up 63.5 points per game. So not a bad way to go for SCU. Now, this is the part of the postgame show where we choose our Ticket Smarter Smart Player of the Game. And once again, we'll say this every time. It's not so much this was the smartest play or this is the player who exhibited the most thoughtful plays of the game. But this is just a player that we can pick that really had an impact for the Broncos, and you've got a few choices in this one.
I'm going with the co-player of the game. I don't know if we've done that this season.
We have not. We have not picked two smart players of the game.
But I'm going co-player of the game. Keyshawn Justice, Carlos Stewart, both of them stepped up for their team tonight when really was most needed. Keyshawn starting off the second half, knocking down threes, had the opportunity for a huge four-point play that really got the momentum going the Broncos' way. And how could we not talk about Carlos Stewart? He's just been fantastic all season, but especially these last few games, and knocking down his free throws, closing them out. He was 8 for 8 against Portland State, 8 for 9 tonight. Those are great statistics, and you need those guards really holding this team together. Great win all around.
So those are our Ticket Smarter Smart Players of the Game, brought to you by Ticket Smarter, the best place to find tickets to the hottest sports, concerts, and live events near you. Visit ticketsmarter.com or download the app to secure your tickets today. And he was our halftime interview guest. We talked to him post-game after the win over Portland State, where he had a career-high 24. I asked him, how have you been able to kind of raise your game offensively over these last 5 games? He was averaging 20 points a game coming into tonight, put up a career-high 29, including 4 assists in 33 minutes. And he said, basically, it's because I work hard. I want to be that guy. I want to show everybody I'm that guy. And he certainly did tonight with 29 points. We're going to take a break here. We will say goodbye to the folks on the WCC network, and we will keep it here as we look at the quick numbers, the statistics. Broncos out shooting UC Irvine 51-49, out shooting them from behind the arc 54-48%. Not quite getting it done on the glass, 31-27, but I think Herb Sendick would probably be pretty happy with that. And the turnovers, forcing UC Irvine to turn the ball over 12 times in the second half, says something about the Broncos' ability to kind of turn the defensive effort around into a positive. So for those of you watching on the WCC network, we will say goodbye to you. For those listening on TuneIn Radio, the premium Bronco channel, and AM 1220 KDOW, we will take a break and come back with some post-game interviews. Once again, the Broncos win it over Irvine 86-74. Bronco basketball from Van Wagner.